I'd like everybody to give another big hand to the posse. One of the bravest things you can do is talk about your mental illness. And it gives me shivers watching them, explaining what they're going through in such a brave way, just like it was some sort of a physical illness that they were dealing with. So a big hand to the posse. You may have noticed we have a few technical challenges tonight, so I hope this is going okay. I tend to start my talks, and Justin, you can flip that up, with an image. And most of you, is there anybody here in fourth year? So those of you in fourth year probably remember the story of my son Jack. And you might have seen this image actually. And it's a hard image for me to look at, but it's one of my favorite images because it brings back so many memories. Those of you in fourth year, and maybe those in third and second and first, have heard the story of Jack. But the Jack Project story does start with somebody. It happens to be my son, but there's a Jack in most everybody's life. And the more we find out about mental health and mental illness, we start to learn those things. So normally in these talks, we'll get into mental health and suicide, and we'll talk about the numbers. And I decided tonight that I wouldn't do that, because I think this crowd knows about the numbers. We know this is the #1 most serious health risk for young people. We know that this is a terribly difficult time of life, going through the transition from high school to post-secondary or moving away from home for the first time. And that's what my son got caught up in. But I think this group knows that. So we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the numbers and the stats tonight. Instead, we're going to talk about the story of the Jack Project. And most of you may have heard about it, I'm not sure, but we're going to tell you a little bit more and remind you what we're so proud of, and proud to be at events like this. And then we're going to tell you a little bit more about what we think might be the most exciting thing happening in student mental health in a long time, perhaps ever in Canada. So, no, Justin, you can go back. This, I want to dwell on this slide a little bit, because this is just a whole number of images, and you may not be able to see them at this resolution level today, but it goes back all the way to September of 2010, when my wife Sandra and I came up and were invited to talk to all the Frosh leaders. So this was about 6 months after we lost Jack. So that started a conversation and a relationship we had with Queens. We made a video that some of you may have seen, and we made a training video later that you'll hear a little bit more about. But to go on with some of these other kind of engagement things around mental health, over on the right-hand side near the bottom, we have a flag that actually went to the top of Mount Everest with the Jack Project on it. It also, the same flag actually went to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. So people supporting us have helped us share that story in all kinds of different ways. You'll see some cyclists in the middle. We have an annual ride every year. We're trying to always think of a new way that we can share the story about how important it is to engage in your mental health.